Boom, hello, and welcome to the Protector Nation podcast, a podcast that is dedicated to making the world a better place, making the world a safer place by making good people dangerous. In this podcast, we're going to study and understand what it takes to protect your family, to protect your loved ones, because we all know that you have a few basic needs, food, water, and shelter, but you also have the need to protect those things. In a world and society where evil runs rampant and is sometimes left unchecked, learning how to protect yourselves and your loved ones is becoming more and more important. And so we strive to raise the level of accountability to those who would do evil on this planet by making sure that the sheep, that the flock, is more well-versed in protecting themselves and their loved ones. If that sounds interesting to you, then sit back and enjoy the show. Out.
Boom. Hey, what's going on, guys? Byron Rodgers here with Bravo Research Group, a private security company out of Orange County, California, and the founder of Executive Protection Lifestyle. I've got a special guest today, Jared Reston, and it's an honor to have you here, man.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess one of the things that drew me to you, brother, is I saw a YouTube video of you talking about an experience that you had in the line of duty, a life or death. Like it was a straight life or death kind of experience. And it really kind of the mindset stuff you were talking about and just the overall surviving what you survived kind of caused me to really believe, like, man, we can learn a lot from this guy. So, yeah, man, that's kind of why I wanted to get you on here for the most part.
That's great. And I'll tell you right now, you're not going to learn a lot from me, but I'll validate the stuff that you probably already know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it was for me. It wasn't life altering. It was just kind of validation of some of the training that I've received. You know what I mean? And then it debunked some other things, but it's still, as a whole, it just validated my training.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Knowing what we can, knowing what's valuable and knowing what, maybe just won't work for the situation. That's good to go, man. Just real quick, just an overview for the people that are just tuning in. Don't go into the details yet. We're going to get into the details, but like essentially what was it that took place, man?
So I'm a police officer in Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah. I was working an off-duty job at a mall. I went to stop two shoplifters. One of them got taken into custody. One of them ran. Me and my partner gave chase to the one that ran, started a physical fight when we finally caught him, and then ended in a gunfight where I was struck 7 times with a .45, 1 through my jaw, exited out my neck, 3 across my body armor in the front, 1 through my left thigh, right above the knee, exited out high in my thigh, 1 in my right buttock, hit my hip, broke my hip, and then a graze of my right elbow, and then I was able to return fire and kill him.
Wow. Man, that is that's deep, man. That's deep, brother. All right, good to go. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's what you're in for. We're gonna understand this and try to learn from it and really kind of evolve our paradigms around protection, survival, and all those things by talking to Jared Reston today, man. You said you were working an off-duty, real quick though, you said you were working an off-duty kind of side gig at the mall.
Right.
When that went down.
So it's like a lot of police work these, like whenever you see a police officer working outside like a nightclub or something like that, the nightclub's paying them and then also pays like the department for the use of those officers. So it's like a way to just make money, make some overtime, but not out of the city's dime.
Yeah. No, I dig it. So yeah, in our industry, man, we do that a lot, which is kind of why I asked you about it. And I think it depends on like the policies or whatever your department are or and whatnot. Okay. And did you get any static for doing any of that? Like working off?
No, because I mean, the department, when you're on there, you're actually like on your duty. Like I was under my insurance and it was workers' comp. It was full duty.
Sweet.
Because for every hour that you work, like that place has to pay the agency $5. So like cover like the uniform and the so every hour you work, that company sends another check to the city. Yeah,
so they're getting theirs. Everyone's getting taken care of. Good to go.
Right.
Solid, man. Yeah. Because I've had some conversations with some guys about like different policies, so want to check that stuff out, man. So what is your background, brother? Police work.
I've been a policeman since I was 20. Got into the academy at 21. Policeman at 22. Been a policeman since 2001.
Okay.
Got on the SWAT team in 2004. We're a full-time SWAT team and things like that.
Okay.
And with we're a full-time team. We've always been full-time, but we used to have kind of auxiliary duties where I've been a gang detective and career criminal detectives and like a fugitive detective on top of the SWAT, and I'm still on SWAT and things like that.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. What caused you to want to get into law enforcement? Like, what was at the base of it? The infamous question. I know. In military and law enforcement, guys, we get this question all the time.
Yeah. I think it was, I grew up playing sports.
Yeah.
And that camaraderie of a team and things. My oldest brother's in law enforcement, and like I used to ride with him and I just saw the camaraderie with him and his partners and, guys that he rode with. And I liked that. And I wanted to kind of, when I was done in college playing football and things like that, I wanted that to continue on almost.
Yeah.
And then like getting into SWAT, I wanted to be the best part of it. I wanted to get in it and do work. And like in 2000, when I went to the academy, pre 9/11, if you wanted to do work, you went to a metropolitan police department, got on their SWAT team, and that's how you did work.
That's how you get up in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you get where it's at. Good to go, man. Now, why do you do kind of what you do? Are those reasons the same, or have they evolved through your experiences with the department? And
I do it I kind of for selfish reasons. I love it. Like, I mean? Like I like it.
That's what's up.
I get to really make a difference. I'm not, we're dealing with like the worst of the worst in the city of Jacksonville, which we're the murder capital of Florida. I mean, like we're dealing with like really violent people.
Yeah.
And I'd rather them deal with me and the fellows that I work with than run up on somebody else, because we can handle business. So, I mean, and I just like what I do.
That's what's up, man. No, I like that. It sounds like when you say you like what you do, one, not a lot of people are that honest. So that's freaking legit. I respect that. And then two, it's like you like what you do, but then when you really sound like you get a little deeper into it, it's like, hey, look, like, it sounds like you kind of live the warrior ethos. Like you're a warrior and you'd rather have those people run into you than any of the other people out here, and you and your guys doing what you're made to do. It's like, I think that's really honorable, I definitely, if I'm understanding you correctly.
Oh yeah. I mean, I firmly believe in, like this kind of stuff is a calling and things like that. I'm not a typical policeman. I haven't been like my entire career, but I haven't written a ticket in like 16 years. I don't do like, that's not what I do. I do different stuff.
Yeah.
That has to be done. And I know the tickets and things have to be done. I'm a different cog in that machine.
Heck yeah. Nah, man, I dig that. I love it. I respect it. I mean, for us, it's the Marines. There's all these different types of Marines, but then there's grunts. And like, maybe you can't take them everywhere, you know what I mean? But freaking, I'll go into a house with, those guys, anytime, or what guys you'd take into a house. And yeah, man, you just may not have them at family gatherings as much, when you're meeting the in-laws,
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, no, I dig it, man. So that's awesome. And then now what you're doing these days, you have Reston Group. That's a training and consulting company.
Yes. But I'm still full-time SWAT still. My training company is my side business, I guess.
Okay. So you're still like up in it.
Oh yeah.
Critical solutions is your guys' slogan.
Yes.
What would you say? Define that. Like, why'd you choose that?
It's training for the things that you can't really train for, and it's making the correct decisions under that. But you need training to do it, because it's not a black and white. You are making a critical decision. And we're going to give you the solutions to those critical incidents, like and how to fix it. Yeah. We're trying to give you the answers to the test instead of coming up with them on the fly.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And when those answers are required, it's freaking critical. Heck yeah. No, that's awesome, man. That's good to go. If you were going to boil yourself down to like who you are in your deepest levels, who are you? Who's Jared Reston? What kind of guy are you?
I'm just a guy, man. I don't know. I'm a family man. I'm a husband, a father, a friend. I mean, I'm a guy willing to do what it takes to get a job done. And it's just kind of what it is.
Yeah. I think what's beautiful about that is, because people see things, they see you through screens, they hear your stories that are, in some ways on a different level than theirs. I think a lot of life struggle is relative, it's like, yeah, maybe I did some trash here, in this other country, or maybe you did what you did, but like, the mom who's struggling to pay the bills, she's in the fight of her life too, so I respect everyone's struggle, it's all relative. But kind of the reason I'm asking a lot of these like humanizing questions is because I want people to know like, you're just a guy who's willing to get the job done, a guy that's willing to stand in the gap and freaking whip it on, put yourself between, evil and the innocent. And I think a lot of people hear about, like, when I tell them about my Marine Corps training, for example, they're always like, man, I could never do that. And I'm like, dude, if you were there, you would have done it because you'd have had to.
You would have done it. Like, that's the thing.
You know what I mean?
You're going to do it. There's no choice of doing it.
Yeah. You're going to do it. Trust me.
Yeah.
And I just think it's really good to give people like the reality of, you can become a lot of things. You can become more, you can be hard, but like, we're all really kind of really human, it's just, I feel like some of us commit and some of us are made of different stuff because we go on ahead and add those things on, But yeah, man, that's good to go. Just a guy that's willing to get the job done, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. And a guy who will prepare to get that job done. A guy who knows his job and will prepare to get that job done. That's kind of, I guess, I know what my job's what to do, and I do everything. I try to front load as much as I can to get that done. Tactics, physical fitness, combatives. That's the type of stuff that starts making your mindset right.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. One of the kind of disparities I've seen in my industry is, we don't have like a regimented training curriculum most times. You get on with a family, you get on with a company, and like maybe there's some minimum requirements, but there's nothing that's like, hey, you guys need to perform at this level and that can't dip and constantly be up at that level. So a lot of this stuff is on one's own initiative. You know what I mean? And you're saying like, you're the type of guy that's been preparing to be able to do what needs to be done when the time comes. I think that's ultra significant. I feel like these life and death situations people find themselves in are like the culmination of a lot of little decisions, like they kind of come together and like you either kind of have what it takes and the cards fall in your favor or not. I don't know. What would you say about that? Like, sounds like an ethos or like an idea you have about trying to do what you can to prepare for combat before it happens.
Well, I mean, in my profession as a law enforcement officer, I know that, like, my thing is, listen, I play with snakes. At some point I'm going to get bit. So I just need to be ready to prepare to kill that snake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Take its head off and then deliver it to the ER with me all jacked up. But that's something that you got to understand and take. And, there's a lot of police officers out there who don't, you know what I mean? They get into it for different reasons. Like maybe, they wear the gun and the badge because it's part of the uniform, but they got into it really to be a crime scene investigator. That, you know what I mean? But they still got to be the policeman to get to it, but that's like their path to get there. And sometimes danger finds them. Yeah. And that's the bad part. You got to understand, you might want to get to there, but you gotta make it there, and you got to prepare yourself right to make it there.
Yeah. Heck yeah. So, absolutely. Okay. So like, let's get into this, man. Like blow by blow, kind of what went down. So you're working an extra detail, working an extra gig.
Yeah. We get notified of some shoplifters. I'm actually talking to my wife on the phone. I'm in the mall security office. So me and my partner in the mall security office, and Belk's Loss Prevention, which is pretty far away, comes on and says, hey, we're going to be stopping a couple shoplifters exiting out of the south doors. Well, we're on the north side, so we weren't going to make it to help them. So, okay, we'll have mall security bring it up on video. And you can see a white male and black male, they exit the store. Loss Prevention exits right behind them. And they identify themselves. The white male starts to fight them immediately.
Okay.
So I hang up with my wife, me and my partner take off, and we go. And by the time we make it there and run through the mall and get there, out there, make sure they're okay, the white male's already in custody, and they're walking them back towards. And so we stop and make sure everything's all right. They say, hey, the black male also stole something. We would like him apprehended. And I was like, well, where's he at? So about 75 yards across the parking lot, there's like a bus stop. Well, the suspect kind of separated himself from the bus stop and was like looking to see what happened with his friend. And they're like, that's him right there.
Yeah.
So, he sees us, see him. And then and then boom, he takes off running. And then we took running, chasing him. So we end up chasing him about a quarter mile.
Yeah. And you still have you have someone with you at this point.
Yes. Yeah. So my partner's still with me. And so we're getting there. And as we're coming through this one parking lot, he's running across the front. I can see his legs get wobbly. So I knew like his lactic acid built up. I was like, all right. And my partner's a real big barrel-chested, no-neck joker.
Bowling ball joker.
So I was like, hey, man, I'm going to pick it up and go get him. Yeah. So I picked it up. That's when I separated from my partner to go get him. When I got to the corner, I drew my taser, and I told him, hey, man, you need to stop. I'm the police now. You're not messing with mall security. It's time to go back. Yeah. He turns around and looks at me like this and kind of back steps and turns around and runs.
Yeah.
So then, again, I chased him some more. I put the taser on his back, the red dot. I squeeze the trigger. I hold that red dot there for what seems like an eternity, and nothing happens. No pop, no discharge of the taser, nothing. So I look down at the screen. It just failed. So the LED readout's just counting down. So as I'm kind of noticing what's happening and holding that dot on him, I've closed that gap on him. So I had to holster that, go hands-on with him.
So hashtag for all those people who are like, just tase the guy. Why don't you tase the guy? Like, that's not always.
Tasers are a good plan C.
Right? That's what's up.
I go hands-on with him, and he had a black hooded zip-up sweatshirt. So when I grabbed him, I was going to dump him backwards. Well, he spun high and threw his arm over and broke my grip, came to rest with his chin tucked and his hands up. And I was like, all right, we're fighting.
All right.
So we got into a fight pretty quick. I was knee striking him, still trying to get him to the ground.
Yeah.
And shortly into that scuffle, he produced a Glock 21 45 caliber from somewhere on his body. I never saw it. I didn't see it till later. And
okay, so this gun was in the fight before you registered you were dealing with a firearm.
Right. I think it was we were close. And I had him tight here so he couldn't hit me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think he produced it while my head's his head and I'm elbowing and knee, and he produced it from somewhere.
He just
came up, and I felt a big impact to my face.
Yeah. And
I thought he hit me with a punch, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And it kind of threw me to my left, and we were on top of a dried up retention pond. Right. It's about 25 yards circumference, about 4 feet deep. Just a kind of water runoff kind of thing. Okay. And it was empty at the time. Well, I started rolling down that, thinking I was punched.
Okay.
And in my mind, I'm like, all right, Jared, get up. He caught you with a good punch. All right, get up. But before I came to rest, I could feel that my jaw has collapsed on top of itself, and my teeth are laying horizontal in my mouth. So something's going on.
Yeah.
So by the time I come to rest and I look up, that's the first time I saw the handgun. And that's when he was standing over top of me, shooting me.
Standing over top of you.
Yeah, so he was up on top of the embankment.
Yeah.
And so that's when I was like, all right. And it kind of pissed me off. And I always say it wasn't like a blind rage. Yeah. It was more like, you cheated me. I didn't know we were doing this. You know what I mean? Oh shit. Yeah, all right. I didn't know we were gunplay. I didn't know we were to gunplay.
Yeah. Like you said. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And, so I was like, all right, well, I got something for you. So as he started walking away, because I think he thought he killed me.
Yeah.
But when I sat up from the ground and drew my pistol, as I was drawing and sitting up and fighting to get off the ground, he saw that big motion and he started coming back on me. So I started engaging him from the ground, strong hand only.
Yeah.
As I'm fighting, I was trying to fight to get to my feet. I only made it to my knees. And when he got close enough to me, I lunged up, grabbed him, pulled him to me, and fell over to the side and then put my contact shots to his head, ending that fight right then.
Yeah.
So all in all, he hit me, 7 times in that altercation. I didn't feel any of the ones to my chest. I kind of noticed my thigh, when I got to my knee, and my butt when I got to my knee, but it wasn't anything distracting really. It was just okay, I can feel that. I always say it feels eerily like getting shot by Sims. Whenever you do a major Sims exercise or something, you'll know you got hit in your arm. You're like, oh shit. And then like when you take your shirt off in the shower, you'll have some all over your, like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't feel those. Like,
yeah.
So like, that's what I can tell you. I can tell you the first one was my face. Yeah. And I can't tell you anything else about the other ones. I don't know when they hit me. I don't know, you know, to me, like getting shot doesn't hurt. Yeah. It hurts about 10 minutes later.
Yeah, starting to register everything. Like,
yeah, once that adrenaline starts wearing off and, you know.
Yeah. And it's just like, wow. Okay. Yeah, man, that's wild. So did you experience like kind of a dream state while this was happening? Like you're just kind of like in it and like you're just kind of overridden with, you know, adrenaline, just whipping it on, kind of like, was it kind of, was it surreal? Because I'm thinking about things that have happened to me. And for me, a lot of it was like unreal. Like I was just like, all right, you know, I just got blown up. Like I'm a pile of guts on the floor. Like I'm thinking about everything as it's happening. And I'm like, but then it's real, but I'm like kind of not tripping about it while it's happening. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
And that's
good for you.
That's kind of how it was, but not like while it was happening, kind of afterwards. Like, I mean, during it, it was just, I feel like it was training. You know what I mean? This guy shot me, shoot him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's get this done. Yeah. And let's win. You know what I mean? Like, all right, it's time to win. And, you know, like a little bit, like when we got to the hospital, I still remember everything. Like I never lost consciousness. I was just, you know, but the whole time I was just trying to stay right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't let myself go down these, like, you know,
thought processes that are negative.
Yeah. Or, you know, any of that stuff. Just like, all right, yeah, man, we're good to go.
Heck yeah, man. There's so much to be said for that stuff, man. I think the whole, like, you know, I don't know, like, I feel like men have to feel, you know, and there's a lot of like this kind of, you know, I think there's a lot of stuff that with masculinity is like being challenged and questioned and kind of hunted. But something that I personally have found a lot of value in that's got me through a lot of training is a lot of that same, like, nah, dude, you're good. Keep on going. Let's keep going. Like, you can register all the emotional stuff later, but right now just keep on going. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like a man's got to do what a man's got to do kind of stuff. Like, it gets us through a lot.
Oh, it does. I mean,
it's like healthy.
Yeah, anything can. I mean, you can get through a lot. You can put the human body through quite a bit, and it'll still work.
Yeah, and it's a matter of mindset. You know, you were talking a little bit about your mindset through that situation, but like overall, kind of, what would you say if there was any like mindset? If you were talking to someone who was getting ready to go into something like that, what would you tell them as far as like, hey, this should be your mindset going into a fight for your life?
Like for mindset, like I don't like. So mindset is a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Like mindset kept me in the fight.
Yeah.
Like I always say, like luck helped me survive it.
Yep.
Mindset made me fight back.
Mm-hmm.
Skill helped me win.
Oh, that's awesome.
You got to combine all those things. You can't, you know, you can have the meanest, baddest mindset in the world, but if you're not going to the range and training and doing things, then you're just, you know, you're not staying fit. You're not doing it. That's fake. Like mindset to me is, hey man, I don't feel like going to the gym today. No, I'm going to the gym. Like that's mindset. That's how you burn in the willingness to do things.
It's a piece.
Right. And you got to live mindset every day, train mindset, do those things. Mm-hmm. Don't let yourself get caught up. You know, that's mindset, and it to me.
Yeah. It's like a piece of the equation. And, you know, I actually had this like big fight with one of my buddies the other day, and he was like, knowledge is power. And I was like, knowledge is potential power, my friend. I was like appropriate application of knowledge. That's how you get power, you know?
Yeah.
You got to do the thing to have the power. You know, if you can know everything, you know, like you're saying, you can have the mindset, but if you don't have the skills to execute on what you know, you're dead in the water. And I think that's really good, man. Like, because I feel like everyone kind of does focus on mindset, and I do too, but like, that's only like one component to being a successful warrior or whatever we are.
Right.
Yeah, I think you draw a really strong, really good point there, because you can think positive, you can have the right mindset, but if you get outclassed and outskilled, you're just gonna get choked the frick out.
That's, and you're not going to want to, and you're going to fight till the lights go out.
Right.
But that don't mean it.
Yeah, I don't mean they ain't gonna go out.
Still lost.
Yeah, man. So mindset, you've got to have the software to run, but you've got to have the ability, the know-how to execute on, what your software is telling you. And then there was one other component you mentioned in there. It was like mindset. Luck. Yeah. You need to roll some snake eyes every once in a while.
Well, I mean, for me, that first shot could have went straight through my jaw right off the back and drop. There's a lot of luck in gunfights,
Yeah.
It's just, especially when you're taking rounds or, just different things, just whatever happens. Sometimes the luck will get you there. Just take advantage of the luck that you were given and win.
Yeah. Don't let it be in vain. Like, make it count. For me, I believe it's like my Heavenly Father watching out for me.
Yep.
And I just try not to let it be in vain, man.
That's right.
I try not to let this stuff that we get to do, man. It's a beautiful thing to be able to do these things. And I honor dudes that have been through stuff and they try to pay it forward, with your training and consulting and stuff like that. Like, that's good to go because it's coming from a place of experience. If you were going to say that you had a philosophy on combat, what would it be? Like, how do you look at this stuff? How do you look at now, every day that you're living your life and you're putting yourself in dangerous situations? Is there any kind of philosophy or a way of looking at it that you have?
So I guess some of my friends and some people that I respect, they came up with it, and it's die well.
Heck yeah. Oh, that's the good stuff right there. Well. Go into a little bit to explain what you mean by this for,
I mean, there's worse things in life than death.
Heck yeah.
Just honor the life you've lived by doing what it takes to save others or whatever. Like that. That's what I signed up to do. I'll die well.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. I think there's a lot to be said. What movie was I watching? It's going to be so like bullcrap romantic a little bit, but I was watching like 47 Ronin last night, right? And they're all getting ready to like kill themselves over some trash they believe in. And I look over at my wife and she's used to this because I get like this. And I'm like, a good man, a strong man, he can die well. Like, this is what it's about, like a life of service. You get into this samurai world,
right.
Means service, and you look at and listen to kind of like what a warrior really is. Like, we sign on to die over something or people, or what we love, or the guys that are out there with us, and when it gets real, I think it adds kind of some more understanding, to that. And it's like, well, I'm not here in this country for any political anything. I want to get my dudes out of here, and I want to go back, and I want hamburgers and so on, to sleep next to a warm body. That's what I want. You know what I mean? Like, but this whole kind of die well thing is like, I think you nailed it. You want to die in a way that honors the life you're trying to live, and you want to die in a way that causes you to be remembered, and just you want to die with your honor.
Yeah.
I think a way that I'm systematically doing that is every single day, man. I don't know if it's weird or what, but I draw a lot of power from it. I think about death like all the time. When I'm training, am I going to get up and go to the gym? Yeah, man, because like you need to, you'll think about the last 10 years. It feels like 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, you've been a law enforcement officer since you were 21, but like, if you really think about the time, it feels like it's probably gone by pretty quick.
Yeah, no doubt.
And so I'm like, man, we're dying right now. We're dying to do everything we're doing. I'm dying to sit here and spend minutes with you that I can never get back. Time you can never get back, to do this. And so I think about death every single day. And I think I choose to die well by living as deliberately and as hard and as best I can. I love that ethos, man. That's good to go. What would you say to the average man or woman who is getting ready to take up the responsibility of personal protection? Kind of for the civilians listening, like, all right, I'm a dad, I've been in corporate America my whole life, and I want to start looking at being able to, protect my family with physical violence if need be. What would you say the first step would be? Considerations, things to pay attention to?
Well, I mean, first thing is, find good training, find good people that you can surround yourself, like-minded people, and do it. And if that's what you want, you go for it. Like that, don't do it. Make sure you're in it for the right reasons.
Okay.
Like once you get the training, once you'll know if you want to do it once it starts sucking a little bit and you still do it.
That's the truth. That's a litmus test right there, man. That's good. Yeah.
When it sucks, every job's easy when it's new or it's easy.
Honeymoon phase.
When it sucks, you still go to work, and then that's when you'll know. And to me, I never thought I was some super dude. You know what I mean? I still don't think I'm some. I was a guy who was put in a position that I trained for, and I executed my training. That was it. Like I wasn't a superhero or I don't have any mutant powers. I didn't go
right.
Do any crazy train. You know what I mean? It's nothing. It was just, hey man, I've done stuff my whole life, physical and things like that. And that's just what happened. Like I'm a winner. I've always been a winner. And, I'm not saying that I haven't lost some things, but I try to win.
Heck yeah.
And gunfights, I win.
Yeah. That's how it been going down.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. I love that. You got some cool tattoos though. I don't know. No, man, and there's a lot to be said for that, man, because I don't think we can't outperform our self-concept. We can't outperform our, beliefs and stuff like that, man. And even when I hear your self-talk, when you're on the deck and you get drilled with that shot to the jaw, you're like, all right, dude, we're good. And let's keep fighting. Oh, I didn't know it was a gunfight. Well, I'm finna show you. I'm finna bring the pain too. You know what I mean? That stuff that it's a really, you can take a lot. It's a rugged, gritty, hardcore ethos, mentality, and if I was going to postulate and hypothesize on it a little bit, I think there's a lot to be said for being physical through the course of your life, probably, you know what I mean? You've taken some good hits probably here and there.
Yeah.
That's inoculated to you and conditioned you.
Oh yeah. There's no doubt. That's the training. I was lucky enough, I got on the SWAT team in 2004. We got a lot of training. This was 2008.
Okay.
And there's no substitution for training, of stress inoculation, of being there. For me, everyone's well, did you, were you tunnel vision? And I was when I remembered, I don't think I was too much. And it's because of all this stress inoculation. I've started to come through. I've had the stress on me. Mm-hmm. I've done this was my second shooting that I've been in. It wasn't, I don't know. It was training. All it does is go back to your training.
Yeah. And you had you already had programming, you had software in your mind that was spun up, that was all right, cool. This is what we do. This isn't foreign to me. This is freaking, I got jammed up. I got jacked here, but I'm coming back, and that's awesome. And I think too, to that guy that's looking to get, trying to get yourself to a place where you believe you could defend yourself and your family, or even for the guys out in the field, the agents, out in the field, man, being physical, there's so much to be said for what you get from that, and the training and continuing your training, because at the end of the day, your brain is going to reach for whatever it has in there to help you survive. And the more software and physical training and things you have in there, the more tools and more sophisticated tools and more hardwired tools you're going to have in there to run, I think, when you're going through these things, man.
Oh, there's no doubt. Through training and repetition, that's how you build. Your brain actually has a physical change in it when you do things over and over. Called myelin. It builds up on the nerves in your brain. So things that you do all the time, your myelin is thicker on that nerve because it'll shortcut that. That's how it goes. If it knows you're doing this, so that's where you get repetition. And that's also when I'm really big, in my training company, is practice to make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. So you got to make sure you're doing the right stuff during practice, because when your brain's putting that myelin down, it doesn't do whether it's good or bad. It's just doing, this is what we're doing.
Yeah, it's good.
It doesn't grade on what it is and throw it out. It's just, if you do that over and over again, you're going to do that over and over again.
That's what's up. Yeah.
That's my thing. It's I don't remember Like when I remember, like, all right, he's shooting me, get your gun. Like, let's get in the fight. Like my next thing I don't remember breaking retention, do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like that just happens. And the gun, all I remember is picking up that front sight as I was pushing out.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Those neural pathways are like well established, and you already had that in there. No, that's good to go, man. Because kind of what I say too is like practicing for perfection is one thing, but what I'm practicing for is permanence. You know, like I want to know how to do this. I want this to last. And then when like I'm flooded, I want to be able to produce that result. I think also that lack of fear of death helps you not be as alarmed in some ways too. You know, if you're focusing on dying well and performing to the buzzer, you know.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So you said this was your second shooting.
This is my second.
Okay. Are you able to talk about the first one?
Yeah. A guy killed his wife down in Orlando, drove up here to murder the guy that she thought she was having an affair with, ends up burning down his house. But like while watching the house burn, the police get there. He was holding himself, hostage, I guess, for a while.
Yeah.
And me and a couple guys showed up. He ended up running back down some streets, like going back towards the fire department. So we were kind of paralleling him. And as I was coming in between two houses, he started shooting at me from behind an air conditioner.
Okay.
So, like I heard like over my head in between these houses. So I go prone.
Yeah.
And my buddy's kind of on the corner of the other house. So he starts laying down where he was at. He's like, hey, he's behind the air conditioner. You know, and he was just chewing up the air conditioner. So then I backed out, like had to crawl out, run around the other side. And when I got there, his legs were kind of behind like his hips were hanging out, and he was shooting around that kind of, and my partner still shooting on the other side. So then I put 4 rounds in him, starting in his thigh. So I just kind of went up into his pelvic girdle, like, and just tried to hit what I could. Had to shoot what I had.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that was into that.
Yep.
Solid. So, and it kind of was that same kind of like you start pursuing a guy and then things start going south as you find that pursuit out there. Man, that's what's up. Was there any big takeaways from that shoot? Any big, like, kind of?
Not really, man. I mean, that was a pretty good, I was with another SWAT guy when it went down. I mean, we were on regular patrol, but we showed up, to this call.
Yeah.
And it worked. Our shoot, move, and communicate worked. Find work. I didn't have any work laying there. I couldn't see the air conditioner. So I was like, hey man, I'm out of here. I'm going to get
the shot
on the others. Yeah.
Heck yeah. No, that's good to go. Find work, shoot, move, communicate. Keep moving. Keep moving. Yeah. Heck yeah. That's what's up, man. What would you say about the will to fight? As far as, I hear it thrown around a lot. The will to continue, the will to persevere. I think you kind of really talked about that a bit, man. That's like, you have to kind of have that mindset to keep pushing through no matter what happens.
Yeah, man. And to me, like my will to fight and stuff like that, it's not my will to fight at work. It's my life. You know what I mean? Like I understand and it gets me in trouble sometimes. There's no doubt about it. But I don't talk about, like, there's a lot of people that are prepared that have great skill and can do it, but they're not prepared because they're scared of the consequences. Like I know the consequences if I get into a bar fight or something like that, and sometimes I'm willing to do it. You mess with my wife, like there's things that I'm willing to do
to violence over
my code.
Yeah,
it doesn't coincide with the law all the time. So, but I'm willing to do it. Willingness is what it's about. Like I'm willing to put myself on the line for something that's what it's about. Like people don't get a lot of, like, that's not something that you can turn on at work and turn off. And it's gotten me in trouble a little, you know what I mean? Or not in trouble.
But I get it. Yeah.
And it gets a lot of dudes that do different things, guys like us.
Yeah.
It gets them in trouble. And people are like, well, I was like, no, man, that's that guy's code.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he's at work or not. So sometimes the things that we get held up on a pedestal for doing at work, we get bashed for when you're not doing it at work. You know?
Yeah.
But it's because we're always willing.
Yeah.
And that's
always willing.
And that's the thing. It's, you know, you can have a dude who's the best this, best that, and if he's not willing to put it out there, then he's not worth it. I mean, great. You know, that's great. You can shoot on the flat range, super great. But if you're not willing to do this stuff, you're not willing to put it on the line, then you're nothing to me, because that's not the world I live in.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not. I mean, you're not valuable. You can't stand in the phalanx with us. Like, we can't depend on you if push comes to shove. You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of, honestly, man, I keep going to this masculine thing today, but like, that's what being a man is, or being an adult who's responsible for taking care of your own protection. But really, like, I don't know, man. I think there's something that's really, really masculine and awesome and beautiful about a strong man who's like, hey, you know, I'm here to bring accountability. I'm here to bring, you know, and this is my code, and I'm willing to enforce that.
Right.
I think
willingness is where people tend to lose.
Yeah.
A lot of people are prepared, but willing is what sets you apart.
Yeah, that's huge, man. Being willing is what sets you apart. That's the truth. Because I mean, even since coming out of the Marine Corps, for me, like, you know, you hear a lot of guys talk and stuff. And like, so I did my deployments to Iraq and gotten all my trash out there or whatever. But, you know, you just know sometimes when you hear guys, and I feel sorry for guys that haven't been able to get that, you know, validation or whatever, I guess. But the real question is, are you willing? And sometimes it's really hard to know if you are until you kind of live it here and there, you know? But I think too, it's something someone who can make a decision about ahead of time and really like live their life in a way that, you know, I think they can be honest with themselves and be congruent for that moment if it shows up, and hopefully it doesn't. Right.
And then that's the thing is, a lot of people never know, you know, whether it's going to come up and whether you're tested, you know, if you get tested or not. And you're always like, I still have that damn dream where you're pulling the trigger and it's not like everybody.
Yeah, man, that's real. That's real.
Yeah, I mean that's everybody's. You know, like in my first shooting, I tell people that it sounds a little weird, but my first shooting, I was happy I was able to answer the bell.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like people were shooting at me, I still was able to move, but we still did it. I didn't freeze. I didn't because being on the SWAT team and things like that, people depend on me. Like to do my job, or others might not make it. If it goes that bad, then they expect me to kill somebody to save others. You know what I mean? Like, and if I could, so when that happened, I was like, that's great. I answered the bell. And then my second shooting is the one that I was shot. And then I was happy that I performed after getting shot, and you know, that was a true test of training and things like that. And then when I got back to work, then my third shooting, I tell people like I needed that. And people are like, why would you ever need a shooting? And it's not, I was like, I didn't need a shooting. I didn't like to keep my life like, you know, like that third shooting let me know that I wasn't jacked up from the other one.
Okay.
You know, and it's like, hey, I'm still going to do my job when I need to do it, you know? And that's the thing, knowing that you're going to do the job. Even though I've proven myself multiple times, I'm still nervous that I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I got to do this. That's why I train so much, because it's always about, I want to do this. If they put me in this position, I want to be the guy. I have to do it. You know, I want to be a starter. And that's my thing. I get from sports. It's not, you know, I don't like being on the team. Yeah. I'm the starter.
Heck yeah.
You know, I'm the captain of the team, or whatever it is, like whatever they want. You know, whatever it is, I'm going to get put out there to do it.
Heck yeah, man. No, that's awesome, man. That's just that that's that winner's attitude, man. It's like, you know, out of many, one, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What was it? Our guy said he's like out of 100 soldiers, you know, it's like 80 of them, you know, 80 of them, like 10 of them shouldn't even be there. 80 of them are just targets. 8 of them do all the fighting, and we're lucky to have them. And then, you know, 9 of them do the fighting. We're lucky to have them, but there's one, you know, and he brings the rest home. And I think a good warrior, every one of us should be aiming to be that one, man.
And who knows if you are or not? I know a bunch of badass dudes that are badder than me, but I don't tell them.
Yeah, right. Yep. No, I dig it, man. I dig it 100%. You know, I may not ever be the biggest and baddest and strongest, but hey, I'm going to do my dang best. You know, that's awesome. Always trying to get a little stronger, a little, you know, for what I've been given, I'll do a good job with it, you know.
I might be better than you that day. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, man. You know, we go to the range. Even if I win, you'll hear me say it to my dudes. I'm like, dude, it worked out this time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we did Thunderdome. It worked out for me this time, you know, but the second the day flips, the second that shoot is over, dude, clean slate all over again. I got to prove myself again. And, you know, that clock starts all over again, you know. And that's good, man. Not feeling like you have arrived, you know, not feeling like, you know, the training stops or the learning stops. A little bit of anxiety about delivering. I think it's ultra healthy, man. Like, dude, like I have to be able to deliver, you know, and living for a moment that hasn't come yet, you know, but living with that moment in mind so you can be your best when that moment comes, man. I think that's how you're keeping your head sharp. I think that's the discipline. That's the game. That's awesome. I like what you said about that. You know, like you've been in 3 shoots that you've mentioned, and you're like, I still, you know, think about whether or not I have what it takes to deliver on that. That's huge. That's sacred stuff, you know. What about this third one? Can you talk about that? How that went down?
Yeah, third one was a guy killed his brother's best friend, tried to murder his parents.
Oh man.
His parents live, but just by modern medicine, you know, they live and then he disappeared in the woods.
Okay.
And we had like a 5-day manhunt for him. We ended up woodland searches and all that, and we found him. He went for his gun. We had ours. Burned him down. I mean, that's just cut and dry.
Yeah, that's how that went down. Solid. I mean, it's time to, and you know, I guess for the civilians listening, you know, and I would say like for me, my school was the Marine Corps, and they trained us to kill, and they did a real good job at it. I don't know your background. Well, you got in at 21, so you've been doing this stuff your whole adult life for the most part, it sounds like.
Yep.
But for me, you know, I know that there's been a lot of stuff about PTSD and all this stuff. I never have had any issues with any of the things I've done over there in country, because for me, I'd say it's the grace of God. It's my Heavenly Father, you know, stabilizing me. Everything I have is by the grace of God. Like, I'm not on this planet still because I'm like a bad like legit ghost midget ninja Jedi killer dude. Like, I'm here because I got like you were saying, like lucky-ish. You know what I mean? Like, I was in 4 IEDs, I was in 5 blasts. They actually got mortars on top of us once. Sniper shot and missed me over there, which doesn't happen too often. Like, I should be dead, but you know, everything worked out. And you know, I did the stuff that I did over there too. I think a lot of it had to do with the way I was raised, you know, like disciplinarians. My family was disciplinarians, and it kind of taught me a lot of resilience, man. And also, you know, like I was on my own a lot. I had to solve my own problems a lot. Like mom and dad's in the Bahamas, mom's in Washington State, you know, so it's like, hey dude, like kind of take care of yourself, bro. You know what I mean? And for whatever reason, like when I had to do things overseas and fight in that war and all the things I saw, they didn't seem to bug me that much. And also, I think a lot of the things, for the most part, everything I did, I feel like I was doing was right. You know, like within the scope of what I was charged to do, I kept it black and white, and I did what I felt was right. And so, you know, I don't have a lot of demons chasing me around nowadays. But what would you say to someone who's been in situations like yours about mental resilience and PTSD and staying solid and things like that, staying operational?
PTSD is a real thing. I mean, that's just, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah. And I mean, I struggled. Don't get me wrong now. Like, I just come back and was like, woohoo! Like,
right.
Definitely
And
both times.
Everybody struggles. And and it's going to be a lifelong struggle.
Yeah.
And how it was brought to me, like how it was put to me. And first off, I believe in the law enforcement mission. Like, I believe that we are in a land of laws, and people need to I am a law and order guy.
Yeah.
So I believe that mission. I believe that there are people in this world that are bad.
Yeah.
And they need to be killed. And I believe that there's people in this world who should never know the things that we've done or have done to protect them from never knowing. Like, does that make, like, the things that I've seen, I don't want people to see it. Like, I don't want, that's the sacrifice that we all take. That's what people talk about. It's not that we're going overseas or I'm going to shift work or I'm doing this. That's not the sacrifice. The sacrifice is even car wreck, looking at distorted human bodies, looking at dead children. That's not something that we should see. Those are scars on our souls. We're sacrificing like our souls and our health for these things. And I don't ever want, like, that's why I do this. I don't want you to experience, I don't want you to have, like, when they say, I don't know how you can do this, or I don't know how you do your job. Hey man, that's why I do my job. So you don't ever have to do this.
Heck yeah.
I don't want you. And that's what makes this a great country. That's what makes this a great world, that there's going to be those people, but there has to be people to stand up for those people so they can do their job.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want everybody to do that. Like, hey man, I can't do taxes, so I need you to do that, and I'll protect you to do my taxes later. You know what I mean? Like, that's what makes the world go round. If everybody was warriors and then we would fight each other and it would just turn into a mess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they need to understand that there are people like us that protect them.
Yep.
And we need to understand we protect them so they can be people like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like in your blood, like, do you feel like you were designed, like, are you doing what you were designed to do? Do you feel like this is your calling? Like,
I feel so. I feel like it.
Yeah.
I mean, either in law enforcement or military, but I was destined to do something, in this line of work. And like with me, like, I don't want my boys to do what I do. I don't want my boys to see what I've seen and have to deal with what I've dealt with and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't want my boys to ever get shot. But if that's the life that calls them and that's the one they choose, then I'm going to make them the baddest jokers out there to do it. But that's the thing is, everybody wants the best for their kids and what's better for them. And that's just kind of that's how I am. I don't know.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. And I don't know. I just feel like you're just answering the call. Like, cause I think the same things, like, like if someone's got to do it, I'm gonna do it. Like I spend time trying to be a hard dude so I can hold up under the stress and the strain of whatever life throws at me, while I'm out with my client. When I was in the Marine Corps with my guys, like, no matter what happens, like, I'm going to be, it's an honor to, like, even when I'm in the gym and I'm lifting weight, like, honestly, man, it's an honor to be this strong. You know what I mean? Because I was created like this in order to be able to do something with it, and so you're talking about the weight and the responsibility of really kind of being a good guy and doing the things that you're doing, the weight and responsibility that comes with standing in the gap for people. And I think it's something that's not considered very often, because when you do take on these jobs, man, like, you're going to see trash that you're going to see for the rest of your entire life. And, I came back from Iraq. I drank a fifth of vodka every single night, warm, by myself in my little wall locker every single night for 30 days straight, both times, until finally, like, my inside started being like, hey, dude, you can't do this. And then I was like, all right, bro, like, stop. And like, I was fortunately able to cut that trash out, because just by the grace of God, I was able to control it. But, there's a lot to be said for the weight that comes with going into the darkness, for people.
Oh, yeah. And then repeating it and then doing it again.
Yeah.
Continuing to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to go to work tonight. Like, I'm, that's just how it is. And like when mindset and things like that, you're like, I surround myself with dudes that I want to be.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love listening to their stories and do it, because if the time comes again, I don't want to let those guys down. They're my friends. They've called me friends. They called me brother and things like that. So it's like, I'm not going to embarrass them.
Yeah.
So, it's always living for something else. Don't live for yourself. Like, living for yourself is a bad life right there.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I think a lot of men and a lot of warriors and people and women, even, moms for their kids lifting cars off them. I think humans find a crap ton of strength through love and like thinking and fighting for others around them. Even, a guy out, me out with my friends, you can mess with me. You can even disrespect me to a point.
Yeah.
But like, you get weird with one of my friends or someone with me, like, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely unacceptable now.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot to be said for that, man. And that's really honorable. That's really honorable, man, the things you said. You know, just taking on the responsibility of being kind of that shield or like the edge, you know, that's got to go into the darkness and everything that comes with that, you know, the camaraderie, yeah, but also the reality that you're going to have to be that strong guy who's going to have to deal with those things psychologically and stay centered psychologically. You know, there is a lot to be said for having a strong mind. It's what, you know, helped you barrel through that situation along with training and, you know, things working out in your favor. But then also, you know, as you go through your life and you kind of wade through the darkness here, you know, and you got to leave the loved ones behind, maintaining a strong mind through those things, no matter what you're seeing and experiencing, I think it really makes a difference.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Were there any major differences between, like, because, you know, guys like us think about this trash, like combat and violence from the time we're born. You know, you give us a stick, we're making it into a gun and we're taking over, you know, holding our parents hostage. So, but was there any major differences? Was there anything when you're in when you've been in these actual violence encounters that's like, wow, this is way different than I thought it would be, or anything like that? Or is it just kind of like very real?
Not really, man. Like, that's what I was saying. All this did is really validate a lot of my training, things like that.
Yeah. What things in training, are there any things in training that off the top of your head were validated?
Just staying in the fight.
Yeah.
You know, the human body is very resilient. You can fight through it a lot, you know? Yeah. And that was one. I was like, shit, this doesn't even hurt really. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Heck yeah.
And then a lot of myths that like got busted were like, you know, hey, you'll never see your sights in a gunfight. I'm like, I've seen them every single time. Like,
yeah.
I guess one thing I have changed in my training since my last shooting. It was my fourth. A guy tried to kill his wife in front of us.
Okay.
While we were leaving the range.
Yeah.
To go eat lunch. Guy tried to kill his wife in front of us, flipped the car. It was over. And long story short, came out with a gun. I shot him with a rifle.
Okay.
But I was literally like
driving and wait, how did this go down?
We're going down a road.
Yeah.
His wife is in front of us like 3 cars. We don't know. Well, the car pulls out, like kind of cuts people off. And, you know, we kind of had the blinders on because we were going to eat lunch. We're like, look at this jackass driving. Like,
like, good thing we don't write tickets. Wait a minute.
Yeah. So we're driving, and then he comes out and like pretty much pits her, and she spins out. He kind of crashes off into some trees, and
it's go time.
Then he was trying to, you know, he stayed in the truck, and we're like, this was not an accident. So as I come out, I grabbed. I was in my sergeant's Tahoe. He had his rifle like right by my leg, so I grabbed his rifle. And I get out, and as we get out, she's screaming, he's trying to kill me, he's trying to kill me. So then we got to get up to him. So I come around the end of his truck's on its side.
Okay.
And he, like, you know, driver's side down. Yeah. I'm like, hey, man, show me your hand. He shows his hands. He does a lot of stuff. I mean, we had about a 4-minute conversation with him. And then finally he said he wanted to die and all this. And I was like, nah, it's all good. And I said, I'm going to get you out of there. So when I reached in and cut his seatbelt off, I saw he had a pistol sitting on like the vent window of his truck. Okay. Like it fell and was sitting there.
Yeah.
So I said, hey man, I saw that gun. Don't worry about that. Easy day. You know, and he's like, well, what if I just grab that gun? And I'm like, don't grab the gun, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, dude, it's just not.
You don't want, like, you don't want that.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey man, put your hands behind your head. And he put his hands behind his head and interlaced his fingers. Okay. And I could see the white. And we're still talking. He's still talking about it. He's like, hey, I'm going to grab that gun. I was like, don't. And then I just saw his knuckles go red where the blood came back into it. And I was like, don't you? And then he jumped for it. Yeah. And then, so then I laid into him.
Yeah.
The thing with that was I was hitting his body, and then I went to his head and fired 3 rounds to his head. And we just left the range doing like burn it down drills, like, you know, like 0.16 splits and like, you know.
Yeah, fast stuff.
Well, when it was over and done, and I'm covering and I'm looking, like, make sure everything's good, I see 2 holes right through the windshield where his head was.
Okay.
I was like, I didn't ever see my dot not on him. But what happened was when I hit him in the head, he dropped so quick, I'm shooting before my brain could even say that he moved. So I was out shooting my brain. Those split times, because it takes 0.25 seconds for your brain to see something, react to it. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by the time he was gone and I was like, all right, he's gone.
Yeah.
I put 2 more rounds downrange. And at first I was kind of mad at myself. Then I was like, well, that's a training. So I'm out shooting my brain.
Yeah.
So for me now in my training, like I never take shooting past 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 up to 30, whatever it is. Cause that's about 0.27 second splits, and I can shoot multiple targets, I'm shooting multiple targets, multiple hits, whatever it is, like, hey, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think a lot of Instagram and all that fame's coming in and people want those fast splits and, they barrel in behind it and shoot a paper target. Well, that's great. Yeah. And that's what training was, and then I was like, I need to reevaluate this because think of people shooting movers. I don't give a shit how fast you are. You'll never see anyone shoot faster than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what I mean? You watch the Yankee Cup with the world's fastest shooters. Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whatever it is, because it's a mover. And if you think about it, everything that I'm going to shoot in real life is a mover because meat moves when you shoot it. Like that's it. It's never going to stand still. It's on a piece of paper. It's on a piece of steel. Even if you hit it and it drops down, it's going to move. Yeah. So you can't outshoot your brain. So for me now, all I do is train to shoot movers and consciously make myself not shoot as fast because I don't want to. I'm not an exhibit shooter. An exhibition shooter. I'm a real life
tactical,
doer,
gunfighter.
Yeah. So that's what I learned in my last shooting, and that's brought my shooting way up. Really.
Really.
Yeah, because it sounds hokey because it is hokey shooting. A rifle at 10 yards in an A box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm like, all right, that's great. Now put 1 in the A box, 1 in the head, 1 in the pelvis, or 3 to the box, 3 to the head. Instead of going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, it just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It never changes. If I got 5 targets laid out across and I'm shooting 10 rounds, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's not bang, 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 bang. Because what it does, the cadence, you take it off the shot-to-shot split times to speed up your target-to-target transitions. So it makes you work. And people are like, it sounds cheap. I'm like,
it's counterintuitive, but it's real.
Just hit a fucking timer, motherfucker, and you'll be like, okay, it is.
Yeah.
And it's slowing down makes it keeps you under control.
Yeah.
The situation's already spinning out of control. If you start railing shit and doing stuff, because that's the thing, man. In my world, I'm going and we're going different corners and I'm shooting a guy, right? And he's going into my buddies where my buddy's becoming a backstop and out of my area of responsibility. I need to be able to shut it down.
Right.
Because there's nothing worse than me shooting my buddy.
Nothing in the world, in the universe.
It's like, hey man, you can't outshoot your brain. And what you're going to do is you're going to resort to your training. It wasn't like I thought about it. It was just like, hey man, I burn shit down. It's this close. This is what's going to happen.
I'm about to torch this thing.
And I threw those 2 rounds, and they were right where his head was, and it was a tight group. And the recoil management was fine. It was the brain didn't register. Hey, he moved. Because by the time he dropped, I thought all 3 hit him.
Yeah, and you were convinced, all right, solid. Yeah. And you're like, oh snap! There's a hole in my.
That's 3 yards with the rifle.
Yeah,
you missed.
There's no reason to be missing.
So for me, you're going to resort to your training.
Man.
So now I bring it off of it a little bit.
Heck yeah. No, that's good, man.
I'll shoot my brain.
Yeah. And for a tactical shooting, man, I think every shot needs to have, I don't know. I'm not the TD instructor here, but I think every shot needs to have a responsible level of consciousness around it, just because.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
In freaking unforgiving, civilian, saturated, stupid environments doing this trash. Yeah. And there's a lot of good stuff. You said that what you were saying about splits, man. I had a video, I'm rolling with some dudes that can shoot now, and I got out of the Marine Corps and I thought I was like a war fighter, and they were like, okay, all right, just come on out and start shooting. And I was like, you know who I am, and they were like, just come on out and just hang out. And, you know, because these guys are competitive shooters and tactical, but they've been training with pistols and stuff, you know, and riding on my laurels for a little while, thinking I was cool, you know. And I just got burned to the ground. And like, and that, you know, that was like 2 years ago. Now, you know, I'm starting to like learn the ways of the Jedi, and I can hang, you know, with the average bit. But, so this whole concept you're talking about, you know, the splits and cadence, you know, I'm thinking like, I'm going to one target, 2 shots as fast as I can, next target, 2 shots as fast as I can. But I didn't realize that cadence and rhythm really does speed you up. And on my YouTube channel, one of my buddies like taught me this, and he did it right in front of the camera. And you see my shots, and you literally watch me get faster. Like I drop a whole like second or two off of the string of fire, because I start just working the cadence, and it's just that rhythm, and your splits actually do become much more, not only manageable, but much faster. So no, that's awesome, man. That's ultra valid. And then realizing that, you know, it's not just all about speed, you know, it's not just all about speed and being impressive. You know, there's a certain level of just like tactical responsibility you've got to have. And we all know that. You know what I mean? And you maintain that, obviously, you know, you had a responsible backstop, but at the same time, like, seeing that, assessing that, and recalibrating that. Was there anything else that, you know, the violence you've experienced validated or invalidated?
Not really. I mean, everything else that I do is pretty valid, like, you know, and everything. Not really. I mean, it just, you know, lets me know who I am. You know, me being who I am is okay. Like that's about it.
Heck yeah. No, that's I think that one realization, being who you are is okay, is like something that is, one, very empowering, and two, a lot of people spend a lifetime trying to accomplish, man. Like, you know, like I look at it 2 ways, you know, like I know the world now tells everybody like, you know, you should be proud of who you are and you're good enough, you know. But kind of the way I look at it is, you know what, you want to respect yourself, freaking work on yourself, and become a person you respect. So you can sit there, look in the mirror, and be like, you know what, I ain't perfect. You know, I ain't got my like Instagram 6-pack, but you know what, I'm good with what I got. Like I've tried to be good with, you know, wise steward with what I got, and I'm proud of myself, you know. And maybe I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I was, and I'm working hard on my trash, and I can look in the mirror and honor the man that's looking back at me because of the decisions I've made, you know.
That's right.
And freaking holding the line for your dudes and stuff like that. I contribute to that heavily, man. That's good stuff, man. I would say, what are you most excited about that you teach nowadays? Kind of switching gears a little bit.
I'm teaching nowadays is what I really enjoy is teaching CQB. A lot of the stuff is, I mean, a lot of things that like people want to bring you in for is all flat range and all that stuff. But CQB is really where I think my company shines and brings a really, like if you ever took a flat range class with us, the stuff we put in to our flat range and have methodology and this, that, we do the same thing with our CQB, and it just comes off really well. And I mean, that's what I'm super excited about. Our CQB's picking up a lot this year because it's slowly trickling out that it's good, because I mean, you can't show CQB on Instagram. So, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. So it's getting really well. So I'm excited about our CQB because, I mean, listen, I mean, flat range is great, but that just gets you a ticket to the show.
Yeah, man.
You want to step into the house, that's the show. That's where the big dogs get set. I mean, I don't give a shit how you are. And all flat range does is let you know that, hey, you won't shoot somebody if you come inside the house with me. Like, or you won't. You're not dangerous. Like, you might shoot somebody, but it's on. You shoot someone, it's on purpose. Because in the flat range, I've seen you shoot. You know, this is, and that's where you separate the men from the boys. The decision making in a house, doing stuff when, you know, in close quarters and doing stuff. That's the
problem solving. And
that's what I really love doing.
Heck yeah. And that you have all that CQB stuff in your pistol course. So I thought I saw you got one coming up in kind of in my neck of the woods here in a little bit.
A couple months I'll be in Escondido.
Yep.
Escondido at the beginning of March.
Yeah.
And then I'll be back in Northern California.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, man. I might try to join you for that Escondido party, man. That'd be definitely good. Let's see. I got a few more questions about, let's see, the things that you've been doing with your law enforcement career here. What do you think was the most difficult aspect of, the shoots and the things that you've gone through?
Nothing.
Just,
shooting people and shooting. I'm doing the job that needed to be done. That's it. I don't ever think that I'm better than anybody else because I've shot this many people. That don't mean shit.
Yeah.
Because you would have done the same thing if you were in my position.
You're trying to survive. Yeah. Yeah.
They're putting people in front of me. I'm not actively hunting. You know what I mean? Like, you put them in front of me, I'm going to handle business.
Yeah.
So they just keep putting them in front of me.
Yeah. Putting themselves in front of you. No, that's there's this, I'm sure you've seen it. There's this thing, this reporter was talking to a Marine sniper and she was like, oh, what did she say? She was like, what do you feel when you pull the trigger and take a man's life? The Taliban, when you're shooting the Taliban, you take their life. And he's like, recoil. You know what I mean? Like, because he's reconciled in his heart and mind, like, this is what I'm here to do. These are the lines in the sand. This is what side this dude's on. And I'm fulfilling my calling as, a United States Marine Corps Scout Sniper.
Yeah.
And if you keep it simple and you're on the right side of things, I would agree with you.
That's the thing with me too, man. Like, I've never been in a questionable shooting. I've never pretty much the 4 shootings I've been in face to face with like evil freaking dudes. Mm. Like there was no doubt in their mind. One was already a murderer. Second one tried to murder me. Third one murdered his entire family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The fourth one was trying to murder his wife, like right in front of us. Like so to me, it's not like one of those, oh my God, it was a kid with a fake gun, or, you know what I mean? Like that, I can see how that eats at people's soul, but they were doing what they had to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. And, that's tough. And like, so like for me, I was like, I haven't done anything to regret. The people, this world is better off with the people that I've killed off of it.
Yeah, when you're doing your job.
That's how I think about it.
Heck yeah, man. No, that's awesome. How would you say, I think we touched on this a little bit, but just because I agree with you 100%, man. Like, I'm just doing executive protection. You know what I mean? Like, I just do security. I mean, maybe half my problem is, I got out of the Marine Corps and I was like, look, I just ain't going to become soft. So I'm about to train. I'm about to whip it on. I'm about to take this trash serious. If heaven forbid I find myself, having to earn my keep in this game, I want to be prepared for that. How would you say lifestyle plays? So I start this thing, executive protection lifestyle, it's like, because I believe, and I guess you can speak on this too, like if you're carrying a gun for work, you got more than just a job. What you're doing should require a lifestyle, because you start thinking about the training, the mindset. Like you said it yourself, like we got to come to work with the right mindset, hardware and software, and we already know we're rolling the dice. You're writing a blank check tonight when you go to work. When I, work this client here after this interview, like I'm writing a blank check. These people hired me because they believe they need me. I would talk about that lifestyle piece, man. Like
there's definitely a lifestyle piece to it, man. If the only time you think about it is when you're at work or you're at training, it's probably not. This ain't right for you. You're riding the bench. You know what I mean?
That's the truth.
I mean, this is all about, like, that's what I'm saying. Like when I went through the academy, I don't know if they did this to you guys in the military, but they always said like, hey, you should hang out with people that aren't cops. Mm. You know what I mean? Like it just helps you keep balanced and, And I'm like, yeah, man, I don't hang out with anybody who's not a cop or military or knows what the hell I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah, can appreciate that.
Because I work a lot.
Yeah.
I work regular. I work overtime. I work my company. Like so when I'm off, I don't care about hanging out with people who don't understand me and, why do you do this and why do you do that? I just want to hang out with buddies and talk about football or whatever, because we don't talk about that stuff really. I mean, we'll show each other guns and doing stuff like that, but it's never like, oh, Byron, why do you do what you do? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why do you do it? Because it's the same thing. Like so that's how I see it. Like it's definitely a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. It's that to me is your mindset. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't walk when I'm not working. I don't walk through parking lots just like, la, la, la. Like, you know what I mean? I'm still doing my job.
Yeah.
And if you find yourself doing your job, not at work, you got your right lifestyle. Like, that's how it is.
Yeah, no, that's so it, man. Like, protect, like, for me, one of the other things I say is I'm a protector by nature and by trade. You know, like, I'm out with my wife, I'm protecting. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in a restaurant having a sandwich by myself. Like, I genuinely believe because I'm there, the restaurant's a little safer. Because there's a strong man there willing to do good things. You know, and that's just the ethos that guys like us live by, man. What would you say to, you know, someone who's looking to get into law enforcement or looking to try to follow your path, like wants to get in there, get after it, get sent somewhere hard, wants to be the guy that's riding off into darkness, you know, to fight evil at nighttime or whenever it may show up?
Find a great department and go after it. You know what I mean? Go do it. I mean, if that's what you want, don't let people, you know, tell you can't. Don't let any of that. Like, for me, like, my SWAT team has really high, like, PT standards.
Yeah.
You know, I played defensive line in college, and when I went to the police academy, I was like 270 pounds.
Wow.
And these people are like 170 little monkeys, like, you know what I mean?
Like rabbits just running, like,
like, you know, it's an easy day. Like, and I'm like, great. And they're like, you'll never make it. You know what I mean? You're too big. It's going to be too hard on your body or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, cool. 15 years later, I'm still here.
Friggin' kicking it.
Yeah. So, I mean, don't let anybody tell you can't do it, and just and fight for, you know, that you can. You know,
I think guys like you, and maybe dudes like me are like, it's a rare breed. So I think if a young man who has this type of like song in his heart, who has this drive, who has that little voice in the back of his head, starts talking to people, they're probably not going to understand. And they're probably going to be like, nah, be normal like me and average like me, you know, and there's a high probability, like, you know, they might try to discourage or like not be down with it. But I think what you're saying is the key, man. Just get in there, get after it, because what I think is really scary is getting to be old and having to be that guy. And you hear these guys, I'm sure they talk to you all the time. Man, I was gonna I was gonna join the military. I was gonna get into law enforcement back in the day, but you know, oh man, that scares the trash out of me, man. Like, just go and get in it, because I don't know, because I'm doing what I love. Like, I love doing this trash. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I wish for my job it got a little bit, I could pick up the pace a little bit more and it got a little bit more intense. But dude, I've had an amazing career. I've been to over 70 countries around the world. I've seen things that people like dream about, and like, you know what I mean? Like, it's been an amazing career. But at the same time, like, and I wouldn't give it back for anything, but like, I don't think that song in your heart will just shut up. You know what I mean? I think you either do it because it's in you, or you're gonna hate
you might do it. You're gonna hate yourself. Yeah. You're gonna hate your job, and you're gonna hate. Like, there's dudes that are out there like, man, this sucks.
Yeah, dude.
And those are the guys, and those are the civilians who go out and train and do, like, you know what I mean? Those are the ones you see on the range that are training and doing things, and they're like, man, I would have loved to do it, but they're packed, like, they can't go back now.
Yeah.
They're too, so don't. Just be a better citizen. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, make sure you carry a gun all the time. Make sure that when you're eating, like, just how you're saying, like, you're eating a sandwich, that restaurant's safer because you're in there.
Yeah.
Because you're trained. Just be better and be ready for the fight. And, you know, and for like a young person, like, I would say, if you're the guy that's willing to fight, like, with your friends, or not pick the fights, but it is, you know, you're not, you know,
you're gonna make sure, right?
You know, or someone's picking on your friend, you're not scared to step up, and you're not scared to get into a crowd and get into an argument even, or whatever. Listen, you need to go find the military or law enforcement, or you're going to end up in jail.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I needed to find the purpose for what I'm willing to do. And like, what meets me. So if you're that guy, man, you're going to be a good soldier or a good policeman.
Yeah, get on the path. Nah, man, that's huge. That's huge, you know, because like if I think about my life too, man, I've been a warrior always from since that time, as we say in the Bahamas. And it is the grace of God that I found myself into a place where it's acceptable to really be able to push hard and like get that out and do that and be that 100% for a while, man. And that's wisdom, I believe, man. That's wisdom. I think there's a lot of men out there that could use hearing that, you know. If you're that guy, find a good outlet, find a path that, you know, you can like factor in that warrior ethos on the inside of you in a way that's going to benefit the heck out of your life. You know, Marine Corps, I survived it and it's benefited the heck out of my life, you know, and you're going to do something to where you can go to work every day and feel honor and respect yourself and be part of something you think is honorable.
Things that people have been beating you down on your whole life for your willingness to do.
Yeah.
You're now held hot like that. That's because you're willing. There's not a lot of willing people.
Yeah. No, out of many, man. One, you know, out of that crowd, you know, who's going to be the guy that's going to stand up, you know, and I think that's who this episode's really for. You know, if you're listening to this and there's something inside of you that's moving around, answer the call, because you're only going to live but so long. You're only be capable so long, man. So get in the fight, you know, good guys can use you. Good to go, man. I mean, that's that. I think that's the whole idea. That's most of the podcast right there. Right there. That's a good place to set it down. So, what are you doing now? Where can we find you? Any plugs?
Yeah, man.
Man.
Freaking Facebook, you know, Instagram. You know, it's Reston Group under all of them. Check it out. Find me. Website is restongrouptraining.com. You know, check out our schedule. We're pretty full up for 2019. You know, join us.
Outstanding. And I think what I really appreciated the most about talking with you is that you're just a good dude, man. Like you're like a man, like a normal guy. Like, and you make sure you don't like float around in the clouds on any like, you know, special sauce or accolades. It's like, nah, man, like I'm an American dude. I like playing football, and you're a big dude. I remember being like, "What's up?" I was like, "Hey, I seen you on YouTube this one time." I was like, "Good to go." Now you look like you're playing football or some trash before you got into it. So that's good to go, man. Yeah, like you're just like a good guy who's willing to answer the call. There's a lot to be said for being willing to answer the call, and you know, by the grace of God and training and preparation, you know, and you had what it takes so far, you know, and none of us plan to live forever, but we plan to die well, and that's freaking what it's all about, man. Heck yeah. Yo, thanks so much for spending this time with me, Jared, man.
No problem, bro.
I look forward to hopefully getting in on some of your training when you come out here, and definitely look forward to the next time our paths cross, man. It's been a good combo.
All right, sounds great, bro.
Boom. Yo, what up? I hope you guys really enjoyed that episode. Hey, listen, in order to get more out of the brand, I want to encourage you to go join us on our social media platforms and join us at protectornation.com. We post different types of content on our different platforms at different times. You'll get blog posts, you'll get videos, you'll get real world combat engagements and things like that. So stay plugged in order to get the most out of the brand. In order to support us, also go to protectornation.com and buy something, or join forces with me on Patreon. You'll scroll down the homepage and you'll see the link. Anything you can give counts. You know, think about whatever you would lose in your cushions or like spend on McDonald's this month, $5 a month, whatever it is. That helps us make the world a better place by making good people dangerous. Anyways, this is Byron Rodgers, protector by nature and by trade, and I'll see you on the next piece of content, whether it's a video or podcast. Out.